disclaimer, this is not all the customs I've ever made because I make a lot of commissions and I sell some of them. These are just the customs that I keep in my personal collection. I thought I would start out with one of the more relevant customs to my account, which is my mascot. This is Missy 2.0. I made her in 2019 and it took me almost a year to actually finish this one because it was just such a long process. I kept losing interest, but I'm so proud of the final result. It's probably one of my favorite customs I've ever made, and I don't really anticipate remaking her anytime in the future. I'm overall pretty content with the final result. This is Walmart Missy because I don't think you can name a bigger downgrade than this version compared to the first custom you saw. I made this one in 2016, and this is when I originally came up with the design, which for the most part transferred to the newer and better custom, except for the feathers all over the body. Don't know why I decided that was cute, because it's not. But overall, this custom was a good starting point, but it definitely improved with the second version. You versus the one they tell you not to worry about. This is another 2016 custom. It's supposed to be Revenge era Frank Iero, My Chemical Romance, if you don't know that. I'm not gonna lie, he's looking rough. The hair I'm torn. It's a 50-50 situation in my head because it looks like it was a lot of work, but it's too much. There are too many small pieces. That tattoo is cool though. I can't believe I got that detail 4 years ago. That's cool. And the armband too. I'm proud of myself for that. I mean, go off. Here's my custom of the character Party Poison. I made this in 2017. Party Poison is a character from an MCR concept album and is sort of a superhero figure. So of course he's got to have his cool jacket and his ray gun, fingerless gloves. I'm really proud of how the jacket turned out. I think it's incredible how much detail I was able to get on here. Ray gun looks great. Dirty pants, because of course he's running around a desert all day. It's not going to be clean. I think the weakest point on this custom is definitely the hair, because it makes him look like Ronald McDonald, and it's ugly. This is my Sugar Skull custom, 2015. I don't have much to say about this custom, to be honest. I think it was really ambitious for me to have done all that in 2015, and I'm proud of myself. But obviously there are some mistakes and errors that I would not make today. So that's what the franchise is called. I can't pronounce it. I didn't want to embarrass myself, but I love this character. It's basically like a cute bear dressed as a cat. This was the first custom I made in the year of 2020. Unfortunately, it was damaged under the eye, so I had to fix it. This is my custom of Noise from Dramatical Murder. I made this in 2017. The anime was getting a lot of hype among my mutuals then, so I watched it, not knowing it was based off of like a super intense yaoi game, which the anime was totally chill. It was super subdued in comparison. But I loved the character design of Noise, and I wanted to make a custom of him. And just look at all that detail. This is probably the heaviest custom I own. This is my Suicune custom. I made it in 2017. I think this was definitely a very important project for me to have been working on because it sort of launched my working with wire in custom. So pretty much everything in there, I formed it with wire and then went over it with clay so it would be lightweight. This was also one of the first head swaps I did. Like I said, I was very ambitious with this custom. I remember not liking it even when I just finished it. I might consider remaking it in the future. This is a custom of Flapjack from the Cartoon Network cartoon. I made this in 2018 as a joke, but I kind of love it a lot. My favorite detail by far is the waves in the eyes. Since he's a sailor, I wanted to incorporate that, and I love it. So ever since I was young, I had this wooden Zolo toy, and its name was Oslo. And I just sort of wanted to interpret it into what I thought it might look like as an LPS, and so I made it a dog. I just think it's a super creative design, and I sort of just wanted to put my own spin on it. So I'm sure a lot of you guys probably recognize this character. It's Bakugo Katsuki from the anime Boku no Hero Academia. I made this custom in 2017, right around the time I got into that anime. And even though I've now kind of fallen off the bandwagon, I don't really watch it that much anymore, I still think it's a super neat custom. Essentially, this is him and his superhero costume. So everything here was sculpted. This is probably the most heavily sculpted custom I've ever made. It's crazy how much detail is in this custom. Here's another anime-inspired custom. It's Hinata Shoujo from the anime Haikyuu, my personal favorite anime of all time. I watched it my sophomore year of high school, and I've been pretty much forcing everyone I know to watch it since. It is a sports anime and a shonen, but it's really not like other girls. I'm not a fan of shonen or sports animes, but I love this anime. It is such a feel-good anime, and I urge you to watch it. This is my cherry pup. I made this in 2019, inspired from multiple cherry soda brands. I basically just tried to make it as pink and red based as possible, with the occasional pop of color, like this green. I sort of made it like the stems of cherries. This is my Orange Crush inspired custom. I just wanted to do something that was completely orange because even though it's one of my favorite colors to use, I don't use it that often. The gradient is my favorite part of this custom. I think it's great, as well as the orange slices in the eyes. This is the Shinx custom I made just a few weeks ago. I used a kitten base because I wanted to make this version extra tiny. I'm also planning on making Luxray, and I'm going to use a Dane base so that the height difference is just going to be super cute. I'm also planning on making Luxray, who is my favorite Pokemon, so I'm super excited for that. I probably won't make Luxio, but I'll be happy with the set. I finished this custom just a few days ago. It was inspired by those fine china animal statues that are just super fragile, and I combined it with the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. And because I wanted to make an all blue creature, but I did want it to pop in some aspects other than that. I'm still deciding on whether or not this one is going to be set up as a pre-made in my Etsy, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested. I designed this pastel sheep this past spring, and I made 2 of these sheep customs with the same body design, but I made 2 different eye designs, and I sold one, but this is the one I kept. So a lot of people don't know this, but the first custom I ever made was actually Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas, and I decided in 2018 I wanted to make Lock, Shock, and Barrel since they are my favorite characters from the movie. So this is my Lock custom. I don't love the hair, but I like a lot of everything else. This is my Shock custom. Even though I sculpted all of them in 2018, I kind of lost steam, so I actually just painted her. The sort of eye design I made using watercolors and eyeshadows, just because I wanted to make like a super tired look to her. I really love this custom. I thought Lock would always be my favorite, but she kind of became my favorite so far. And I am currently working on Barrel so I can have the completed set by the time Halloween rolls around. Fingers crossed. So I created this custom based off of Taehyung's styling from the DNA music video. I just thought it was super classy and elegant, and I wanted to see if I could transfer those themes into sort of a more animalized version since it is an LPS. So I kept pretty much all the cool toned elements. I love the eye look so much. I took a lot of time styling it and trying to balance everything out, and I think it turned out perfectly. Overall, this is probably one of my favorite customs I've ever made, and I love it so much. I was on a little creator's high after the first custom and maybe got a little cocky and became too experimental. The problem with this custom is I most definitely pushed the human features way too far, which always kind of looks weird on an LPS. But the outfit looks great. The earring moves, the jacket's super detailed, the scarf I actually cut off of a Monster High doll. The face is awful, and I'd like to apologize to Blood, Sweat, and Tears Jimin, but from a technical standpoint, a lot of the details are pretty dang incredible. So I made this custom earlier this year after I saw a lot of artwork for the Kitty Gang AU on my feed, which is basically just candy gore, which is gore plus a ton of sort of bright color palettes. And two of my favorite things to paint are gore and bright colors, so I knew I needed to do this. I'd like to do more in the future. I have a younger audience, so I don't do a lot of gore, but it's definitely something I want to sort of delve into and try my hand at. This is a Kelpie custom I made earlier this year for a Draw This In Your Style. Unfortunately, I did not place, but I'm still super happy that I made this custom because now I get to keep it. I used a horse body and a bulldog head for this base, and everything else is sculpted. I did the tail, there's tiny little bird heads, lily pads, ivy. All the scales took forever to paint. The hair was super complex. I resculpted the bun about 4 times, but my favorite part is the skull. I painted it yellow because I thought it would probably be pretty dirty if a Kelpie is going in and out of water and dirt all the time. And I used eyeshadow and watercolors to age it and sort of get into the crevices. I'm super pleased with how this custom turned out. I love everything about it, and I'm so happy I made it.